All right, so ladies and gentlemen, now welcome to our astrology Q&A video. And today we have picked a very interesting question by Puck Family. And they have asked, I've heard two completely different interpretation of Venus retrograde joined Ketu by two different astrologers, and I would like to take. I would. I wonder what would be your take on this. And apparently, Venus is exactly conjunct Ketu. So, one thing you understand whenever you hear while something is exactly conjunct. What it simply, first of all, means is that two planets are exactly at the same degree, in the same house, in the same sign. But why this is important is that the closer the planet is to the other planet, the more it gets impacted. So, what I have seen is that, especially when a planet is 7 degrees, either backwards or forward from a certain planet, that becomes a very heavy, impact. So, for example, in science, especially in photoscience, they do this particular thing known as dynamic range test, right? Some cameras have, let's say, 12 stops of dynamic range. Some have, like cinema cameras like Arri Alexa will have 16 plus stop of dynamic range, which shows that how much of bright and black area you can see in the camera. So it starts really bright in a particular scientific test. This one light is like a rectangle, and it goes light till it turns black. Same thing is like a conjunction. If a planet is really close to a particular planet, it's getting its full impact of that light. And as it moves away, or it's away, then the impact becomes very light. So usually, let's say if you have Jupiter at 28 degrees in a zodiac sign, and then you have Rahu in that same zodiac sign at 3 degrees, that's barely you can't really call that a Guru Chandal yoga. It's just Jupiter and Rahu are together in a sign. And yes, if it's a yoga, the yoga is there, but the impact of that yoga is very, very light. Okay? So this is what it means. So now we have Venus and Ketu, and Venus is retrograde, right? That's what they mentioned, that Venus is retrograde. So what happens with Venus? So I'm sure you know Venus is marriage, spouse, relationship, beauty, fashion, arts, creativity, cinema, tantra, siddhis. Venus is siddhis. Venus has the powers to do something. See, even the guru, Jupiter, is not been given those type of powers that Venus has. Jupiter has only interacted with Shiva from hi and hello. Venus was inside Shiva for 10,000 years, learning. So imagine how much more powerful Venus is. And this is why you will see people who are very well versed and have certain siddhis, certain powers, certain ability to see other dimensions. Venus would be very, very strong in their particular chart. Okay. So these are the things that Venus represents. Venus represents sweets. Venus represents our devotion to something. And this is why Venus can also represent addiction. Why? Because addiction is actually a devotion in a way. The positive side of addiction is devotion. The negative side of it is known as addiction, meaning you are a devotee to your guru. You're a devotee of Lakshmi. You're a devotee of society, serving society. Well, that's great. But then if you're addicted to someone, I'm addicted to this particular god, I'm addicted to this particular person, I'm addicted to this particular food, well, then people are like, okay, you might want to take it easy with that, because that sounds like an addiction. Devotion is simply that everything that I have, that I am, is on you. My entire faith is on you, and I'm devoted to you no matter come hell or high water. Okay, I am devoted to you. Addiction is like, I want you here with me now and nothing else. And I want you whenever I feel uncomfortable. I need you there. That's addiction. This is why I need alcohol, because I need you right now. No matter what's happening, I need you right now. Now, Ketu, okay, just like Venus represents a lot of things. Ketu represents cutting things, separation. It's a moksha karka. It's letting go. It's feeling empty. And empty not in a sense, in a bad way. Ketu is emptiness, which is the emptiness of omnipresence. Ketu represents monks. Ketu represents, priests. Ketu represents our past accumulated, skills. Even though past life is really with the moon, but it represents the skills and the things that you rely on in this life. And Ketu, of course, is naturally a planet which is headless. When Ketu makes decisions, it'll make decisions which are headless. Why? Because if you go to a monk, a real true monk, and you tell this monk, I'm going to give you $1 billion, but I want you to marry this person. I have a daughter who's worthy of you. I'm going to give you $1 million. And Ketu's like, no, get out. No thinking, because Ketu is so determined on its path, it has cut its head off. It's like, my answer is this. No matter what you say, no matter what you do, it is this answer. Because I'm only looking for that one thing, which your $1 billion will never give me. Your most beautiful daughter in the world will never give me. So it represents that headless decision. Headless decision may not be like stupid decision. Yes, that is the commonality in this day and age, that, this person just made a headless decision and took this job and now they're miserable. But Ketu really represents being so determined that no matter what your decision, your answer is the same. So you don't need your head for that because you've got the heart. Ketu has the heart. Ketu thinks from the heart, not the brain. Like in Upanishads, okay, if you read the Upanishads, it says the person who will study the three-dimensional science, and the more deeper they go into this three-dimensional science and knowledge, that they go into much more darkness. Okay? And person who goes into wanting to know about God is getting rid of that darkness. So you might be a great PhD physicist, this person who has created this new invisible technology and iPhones and this and that. That's just taking you more into darkness. You're not really discovering anything new. Right? So that's what it is. And Ketu actually represents electricity. So you have these two coming together. When Venus is retrograde, Venus is naturally retrograde, right? Venus spins the opposite direction. Okay, it goes in the same path as other planets, but it's in opposite direction going. So now, not only its opposite direction, from our perspective, it now also starts behaving backwards. So think about that. Just from those things, you can get so much about Shukra, Venus. This is why Venus hangs upside down, because Venus is opposite. It's going opposite. It's like taking that smoke in, right? For that siddhis. So here, when the planet is going direct, we're standing up on the ground. But because Venus spins forward, everything is opposite there. And because it spins opposite, remember, the sun, would be rising from the opposite direction, setting in the opposite direction. So once you know this, these two energies coming together, the first thing you will see is that, yes, a person will make headless decisions regarding relationships and marriage. Why? On one end, depending upon the sign, it can be a foolish decision. What this shows is that the person, because Venus is retrograde, it is unconventional, it is also retrograde, which means that there is some very strong past karmas related to Venusian things. So it shows one will reject the perfect person that comes in their life. They will reject that perfect person because they are looking for something that is so perfect that doesn't even exist. Just because they're not getting the perfect person, that doesn't mean they don't get someone. No, they'll get someone. They'll even get somebody better looking, more educated, more handsome, more beautiful. Okay? But what happens is it's later on they realize that, my God, that was the person. Because sometimes a person can be perfect as your partner, right? Exterior, in the exterior manner. The looks, the education, the values, the family values. But somehow, right, that chemical reaction, that chemical attraction that you had with that particular person who you let go because your head was not there, then later on, then you realize that, oh, that was a person. Now, of course, their situation with Venus and Ketu conjunction, that a person very rarely, because of the fact they have all of these little idiosyncrasies about relationship, they may have very few relationships. Maybe when they got married, that's the only person that they've been with. Maybe they only had 2 other people that they've been with. Now, on the opposite direction, okay, in a certain sign in nakshatra, this person can actually have many partners. Why? Because Ketu's there, moksha karka. They're separated from that idea of commitment and that idea of understanding one person and being linked to them. I don't want to discuss that up front, because that then, you kind of put the stigma on that. Unless I specifically teach in a private setting with the student like I do in my academy, that's something there. Or when I individually see a chart, I'll ask that question. That is this something that you've experienced? So if there's these polar opposites can happen with Venus Ketu. It could be just one marriage, one relationship, maybe one other, or it could be so many because they're detached from that feeling. But for that, you have to see the horoscope too. It's not just Venus Ketu conjunction. You also have to see, how the moon is, how the mind is towards the relationship. What is the connection of Venus and moon? What relationship they have? 212, 311, 410. So that becomes important. But one of the things you will see, they make the greatest artist. When this person goes into art, they make some of the greatest artists because the way they will pick the colors, the way they will pick the brush, the way they will want to show something as a movie director. It'll be so perfect, kind of like with Sanjay Leela Bhansali. You know how anal he is about everything? That's the kind of also person that gives you absolute perfect thing there. That's what happens with Venus being retrograde with Ketu. Venus being retrograde, you may not do that. That's a different thing. It's with Ketu. You cut. When the perfect thing comes, you cut because it was destined to be that way. The other thing we also see with this Venus, because Ketu and Rahu both represents phobias, OCD. They get phobia and OCDs related to things related to Venus. Like especially when you date this person, okay, you will see it becomes like walking into a museum. Don't touch this. Don't sit there. Don't do that. Okay, you gotta be. You don't smell good. No. I can't even have you in my apartment. I smell that garlic smell, and I go crazy when I smell anything which is garlicky. There are so many of these little tidbit things that the person who might be dating this individual will get frustrated probably in the first date or second date. Then the other thing we also see with Venus, beauty, right? Our clothing. How do we dress? How do we look in front of the world? And this is the person that either they will be the individual who cannot wear new clothes at all. Like they will be the person who takes the new clothes, mixes up with old clothes. So once it smells old, then they will wear those. They will never wear the new clothes. Or even if their handkerchief, forget even the main clothes, even if their handkerchief or something, or their hat that they're wearing is not ironed, they will not leave the home. They will only wear this one specific clothing of this one specific company. Or they will be so meticulous as an artist, or even as a normal person, right? When we go and choose clothes, we're like, I like this clothes. Oh, I like this jacket. This is a nice color. Okay, I'll buy it. Maybe I won't buy it. I like it. For this person, they'll be like, unless I have this particular shade of orange, which is not orange, not pink, it's like a lipstick orange, only then I'm going to get this particular shoe or this particular jacket or this particular scarf. And even if you gift them something that they remotely like, if it's not exactly to the thing, they'll be like, thanks for giving me this gift. I can't have it. No. It's like they are surrounded by all of these, meticulous OCDs around them. And especially when it comes to, love and romance, if romance takes place in this particular spectrum, right? This is all romance. Everything that you know about romance is here. For them, it's right there. Unless it's so perfect that it's right that specific thing, then they're not interested in romance. It has to be in this particular time, only when they have finished this, only when they have eaten this, and only when the other person is like that. Only when this person offers this, that is romance for them. So in a way, this person actually will feel very frustrated in their life as to why I'm not finding the right person. Why am I this way? It's not only the other person that may have to point out to them that, okay, your version of love, it doesn't exist. I'm sorry, I can't be with you. When they themselves know that, yes, I get it. I get the world. I have this particular small stream of thing that I'm looking for. Not this whole rectangular that you see of the screen. No, it's like this screen that is that perfect image that I want to deal with. So that happens. And of course, because Ketu is there and retrograde Venus is there, it shows they finished a lot of karmas with their past relationships. Usually what this shows is that a person either would have walked away from the altar from the individuals that they run into. And remember, it's not just one person coming in from one life. The people that let's say you went through a spree of 10, 15 dating sprees, perhaps 2-3 were relationship and nothing worked out. There were all the people that you rejected at a particular moment when they needed you, when it was very important for you to be there. See, breaking up is okay. It's not working out. You are two different people. You walk away. But what this can show is that right when this person was, waiting for them at the altar, they never showed up. They walked away. They kind of cut them out of their life, at their most desperate moment. Meaning you're in love, you're breaking up with this person. Suddenly this person has a major health issue. Okay. And you guys have been in relationship for a whole year. And you now think that, oh my God, you're sick. I don't want to be with a person who's sick and I have to deal with this responsibility. Forget it. I'm just going to break up with them so I can find somebody normal. That's a karma being added on. No, help them out with that sickness. Help that person out that you have given something of yours to them and they have given something of theirs to you. Help them out, be there. And once they are healthy, when you know that, yes, I was there for you. Not addicted, I was devoted. Listen, it's not working out. We should see other people. That's different. But don't walk away when the person is needing you the most. And I'm not talking about it's a second date, they get sick and they need you. No, it'll make sense in your own head. See, our head, our heart, it's pretty much an astrological server. It tells us what is right, what is wrong. You got to understand that. You don't need an astrologer or me to tell you what is right. What you just know, like, I know I shouldn't be walking away. This is so bad, but I don't care. I want to get away from this. That's the moment when you know that you have to be there for that particular individual. So then those things get accumulated because a retrograde planet is showing that there is very heavy unfinished karma related to Venus. Now, especially which house it's in. We know it's conjunct Ketu, but which house, which sign, which nakshatra it's in will bring even more of a flavor towards what exactly the situation is and how it's going to come about. Sometimes it can be with the fact that if Venus Ketu are in the ninth house, let's say, and let's say they're in the sign of, let's just say they're in a water sign. This person will reject the person that they're with because they feel emotionally disconnected with the siblings of their significant other, whether it's boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, or wife. They're like, I just don't like your sibling. And because I don't like them, I don't want to be with you either. While the other individuals, like, you don't have to interact with them. We all have these problems, right? With in-laws and mother-in-law, father-in-law. But if the spouse loves you, spouse is there for you, who cares for the world? But they're like, no, I don't like your sibling eating this way. I'm sorry, I have to end this relationship. I don't want to be with being married into a family where your sibling is eating in this particular manner. It just is. You see how awkward, where they figure out these excuses to separate themselves, how the karma kind of unravels. And especially, again, sign and nakshatra. I mean, I can say sign and nakshatra, but the thing is, I don't want to reveal something about people who may have this conjunction. I don't want them to be like, oh, well, I have this, and if somebody sees this, they're going to think I'm this way. Because there's a lot of hidden awkwardness that are there also with this Venus Ketu that at this point of my life, I don't know if it's okay to discuss her openly. Because I don't want to put that stigma on that. These things are not a stigma. They're just showing it's a past life thing. It's a past life karma thing. But there's something other things that I will only discuss with people who would have this, or let's say maybe in my school, I would discuss something of this nature. Some things are just, just kept in a broader manner, not meticulously going into these minute details, giving out the secrets of the people, because sometimes it's good to let the world have their secrets, and you discover it on your own, one-on-one thing with them. Okay, but like I said, Venus Ketu does that. But also, on the other hand, most of the time, what I've found, these people are spiritually devoted. Their interest in relationship is not so much as it's in some kind of a spiritual devotion. And they feel much more comfortable if their counterpart is also into the similar devotional sphere as them. So this is where this beauty of Venus can come about. This is going to be the most devoted devotee to some guru, this Venus Ketu conjunction. But one thing I also tell you, if Venus Ketu people somehow developed certain type of sadhanas, okay, for example, let's say they learned Sri Vidya. Sri Vidya is these mystery, secret, 16-syllable mantras, which can really open up certain dimensions. They are initiated into some kind of a technique and yoga. This person can be the most amazing tantric, the positive side, okay? Tantric siddha or siddhi, yogi or yogini. They have the easiest access to bring the electric charge in their spine. Just like Moon and Ketu are natural psychics. Moon and Ketu people, they don't even need to sometimes learn anything. If they just saw something on the board, they'll figure all the depths out on their own. But then, of course, Moon and Ketu will also be very picky related to their food, related to how their home is, how something is arranged. Like especially you will see brilliant Vastu experts who will have Moon Ketu conjunction. They're like very anal about wanting to learn things about home. And if the other combinations are correct, they will learn the Ketu side of that home. So these are the things that you can see the difference in Ketu with other planetary conjunctions. Okay. So hopefully this has answered your questions. And remember, you can learn all these things and more on my academy, Maga Vedic Astrology Academy. For that, link is here at astrologycares.com under course section, or you can get my consultations, my books, reports at this link as well. Otherwise, we'll see you next week with another question. And also, remember, I'm wanting to make the Saturn movie, Walking with Saturn. So I'm gathering things slowly. But again, the budget is going to be, it needs to be huge, because the VFX that I'm wanting in that, it's just the VFX will cost probably $20,000. So obviously I fund this on my own, especially through my academy. But I want to make it like grand, because otherwise I'll have to wash this Saturn script down, because even with meeting Ketu, I wanted to do many other things, but I had to cut it out. But since this is the final of this trilogy of Rahu, Ketu, Saturn, I really want to make it good. So I'm willing to wait another 7-8 months. And after that, also one thing I want to do is I want to start making movies on nakshatras. Nakshatras, planets conjunction, not like the movie I make. I don't want to be in those particular movies at all. This time I just want to be behind the scenes directing it, because I have, especially with the nakshatra things, it's amazing. So I want to get to that. I want to start those things. That's why I actually just got a cinema camera. I got a red cinema camera, and I want to really make it cinematic. I want to make you learn astrology while you can just be on your couch eating popcorn and you're learning astrology. I mean, that's my passion, to teach something like this. All right. So anyway, we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.